Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having the best day ever. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. Well, it's back to school time in America, and there are some things that I would like for black parents to know. So I'm just going to cut to the chase. School as a pipeline to prison is a real thing. It is not made up. America is going to have a bottom caste. The bottom caste used to be made up by the enslaved people. Fortunately for us, slavery was outlawed in 1865, but the system has found other ways of sneaking us back into the bottom caste. The pipeline to prison is the number one means of creating the bottom caste. When you're in prison, you're back in the slave system. Prison is an indoctrination. They tell you what time to go to bed, when to get up, when you can eat, where you have to go, what you have to do. So you're back in slavery. So you're back in the bottom caste. And even when you pay your debt to society and get out, you're still limited. Your citizenship has almost been revoked. You can't vote. You have a hard time getting a job because many people do not want to hire ex-cons. And you're on everybody's number one suspect list if any kind of crime goes down. So you really are outside of the system, bottom caste. So the pipeline to prison is the new slavery for many black people. Now let me say right here, pipeline to prison begins in elementary school. It does not begin in high school. Many people think it begins in high school when children are being kicked out, sent to detention, or being suspended and they're failing out, all of that. No. The pipeline to prison begins in elementary school. Any third grade teacher anywhere in this country can almost pinpoint the future prison population. It's based on their behavior, and it's based on whether or not they're doing grade level work, whether or not they're reading on grade level. That's the number one predictor of whether a child is going to be successful in school. Now, this is not up for debate. This is documented evidence, and you can eyeball it. Prisons are built based on how the third and fourth grade students are performing in that state, in their reading scores, in their behavior, and their overall school performance. This is how the system decides how many prisons are built, and in some cases, where they're going to put the prisons. Now, to reinforce this concept, the boards of education in many states have passed a law that says if your child is not reading on grade level by the time they get to the third grade, that is automatic retention. They're going to hold that child back. So that's the first step to the pipeline. Now, this is the point where you need to do some serious intervention if you want to save your children, especially your sons, because this affects boys more than it does girls. This is the point where the child can be saved, but everybody needs to be on board. The father, the mother, the grandparents, everybody who cares about this child needs to understand that this child is at risk and he needs serious intervention. Everybody needs to be reading to this child, talking to this child, and making him to understand that we are going to get you where you're supposed to be. We're going to work with you. We're going to help you because we do not want to lose you. The system is waiting for your child, but the power to save that child is in your hands. Here are a few things that you can do with your children to guard against them getting behind in the first place. One of the most important things that parents can do with their children, young children, is to talk to them. Ask them questions. It doesn't matter what the environment is. There's something going on in that environment that you can talk about. So you should talk to your children. The studies show that middle-class children, the children who succeed the most in school, have a 22,000 word vocabulary when they come to school. That vocabulary is the foundation for children learning how to read, and many black children do not have a 22,000 word vocabulary when they come to school. So you have to make up that deficit because the system is counting on you not making up that deficit. Pipeline to prison. So talking to children, asking who, what, when, where, how. Why do you think that happened? Who is that? I mean, all of these things are important when children are growing and developing. So talking to the children is very important. Reading to the children. If you just read to your child for 5 minutes, it will make all the difference because it's bonding time. You're reading to them so they hear what good reading sounds like. That's important to children learning how to read. They need to know what good reading sounds like. So you need to read to your children. You need to take your children to the library, check out books and talk about the books and read the books to the children. Even if it takes 3 nights to read a picture book, do that. That interaction is really important because you're letting your children know that this is important. Preschool is important. If your child goes to school at age 4 to preschool, that's very important, especially if the preschool also focuses on academics. When your child starts school, it is very important to build a cooperative and trusting relationship with your child's teacher. Stay in touch. Go to open house. Go to PTA meetings. Go to conferences. Know what the curriculum is. Know what your child is supposed to be doing on a daily basis. The first 9 weeks, the second 9 weeks, the third 9 weeks, and the fourth 9 weeks. Or if it's 6 weeks or whatever. Know what your child is supposed to be doing and whether or not your child is performing on grade level. That is the beginning of a successful student. And stay ahead of the teacher. Do what the teacher asks you to do. Do the homework. And have your own curriculum for your child. Don't depend on the school to do everything. Another excellent option for Black children is homeschooling. I know it's not possible for everybody, but it is a wonderful option for Black children. Some of the most successful homeschooled children that we have seen in our school systems are Black children who were homeschooled and the mother decided to go back to school or she decided to go to work or something like that, and they bring the child to the school. Those children are most often ahead of everybody. They are some of the most successful homeschooled children in this country. For Black parents, taking charge of your children's education is mandatory if you want them to succeed. We have to keep in mind that the same system that was in place 300-400 years ago is still in place. You have to encourage your children to outperform what's expected of them. What they used to say is back in the day, we have to be twice as good. And it's still the case that it won't hurt to be twice as good. But there are ways for Black children to succeed. There is no reason why all of these Black children, especially Black boys, should be failing in school. Everybody talks about the education system. We have as good of an education system as anybody and better than most. These children are going to state-of-the-art schools. Their teachers are certified and highly qualified, and they have to go back periodically for professional development and stay abreast of best practices in education. They have a bus to come pick them up and a bus to take them home. They get 2 and 3 meals at school every day. The books are paid for. All they have to do is come to school, behave themselves, and do the work. And it is the responsibility of parents to make sure that they come to school, behave themselves, and do the work. We're losing too many Black children, especially Black boys. And nothing is going to change until we become proactive in saving these children. There are 2 points that I want to make, and then I'm going to end this video. The first point that I want to make is that nobody feels sorry for Black people. There was a time when people felt sorry for Black people. Even when I was growing up, there were people in my neighborhood who had come through what they called the second slavery, and they were absolutely pitiful. They had had no opportunities, not for education. They had never been able to make any money. Some of them were still living in substandard housing. Everybody, including the white people in town, tried to help them because they really had not had any opportunities, and everybody doesn't have the same level of intelligence or performance, so they really needed the help. People felt sorry for them. But these children have opportunities beyond anything their ancestors could even imagined. They go to state-of-the-art schools. They live in a robust economy. There are all kinds of venues for them to succeed. And school is the proving ground as to whether or not they're going to succeed. The last point that I want to make is, listening to these black men on social media complaining about single mothers and black women this and black women are not accountable, we have to keep in mind that these men are hurting. Whether you feel sorry or whether you feel compassion for them or not, they are hurting. And somebody has failed these men. And unfortunately, they have not connected with the idea that they are going to have to figure it out. They are going to have to make their lives work without blaming anybody else. This is my back to school message to black parents. Do the best that you can for your children. It's going to make all the difference in their lives. Okay, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share the video. And as always, have a great day.